This is part 1 of 7 in my beginner sports photography series. And before you ask, no, part 2 doesn't exist. Neither does part 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7. Every video is part 1 because you can start anywhere and not feel like you missed a first chapter of a novel. So today, as in every glorious part 1, I'm giving you 20 sports photography tips that you can put to work right now, even if the only sport you're shooting so far is your cat chasing a toy. The minutes before a game officially starts are a treasure trove for sports photographers. Warm-ups are when players are loose, interacting naturally, and often more approachable. You'll see smiles, high fives, inside jokes, and casual drills that you will never capture once the whistle blows. Watch out for quirky personal rituals or that one teammate who always goofs around to lighten the mood. Even the way players stretch, adjust their gear, or share a quick moment with a coach can tell you a story. These shots bring variety to your coverage and add an intimacy that pure action photos can't match. Think of it as capturing the human side of the competition before the intensity takes over. It's tempting to keep your lens locked on the MVP or the player who's always scoring, but the heart of the game lives beyond the spotlight. Pay attention to the bench, the backup goalie throwing their hands up in disbelief, the assistant coach barking encouragement, the substitute bouncing with excitement before entering the game. These supporting characters bring life, humor, and depth to your coverage. They're also the ones who often react the biggest to a key play, since they're watching with the same mix of nerves and passions as the fans. Photographing them tells the whole story, not just the highlight reel. Some of the most powerful sports photos never happen on the field at all. The crowd can be an emotional mirror for the game, erupting in joy, sinking in disappointment, or holding their breath in tense silence. Keep one ear open for the shift in noise. When you hear the cheer or the collective gasp, swing your camera towards the stands. Capture the painted faces, the kids jumping up and down, or the lifelong fan clutching their scarf. These moments are raw, unscripted, and often say more about the game's impact than any scoreboard ever will. It's a rite of passage. You raise the camera, you press the shutter, and nothing. Before you assume your gear has died, check for the lens cap. Yes, everyone has done it, even the pros. The trick is removing it with as much fake confidence as possible, so onlookers think it was part of your artistic process. Bonus tip, when you store your camera, put the cap in your pocket instead on the lens if you know that you're going to be shooting again in the next few minutes. It saves you from looking like you're filming a very dark documentary. Angles are everything. And in sports photography, low often means powerful. Crouching down puts players against the sky, making them look larger than life. It also makes action shots feel more intense and dynamic. Sure, your knees might complain, but they'll get over it, and your portfolio will thank you. Just be ready for grass stains or muddy knees if you're near the pitch. And yes, people might stare, but you're not there for them. You're there for the shot. Your lens hood is more than just a glare reducer. It's a bumper for your lens. Stray elbows, rain, and even the occasional flying burrito are all real sideline hazards. When you're not actively shooting, angle your camera downward and use a strap. It keeps your kit safer and ready. Think of it as sports armor, not glamorous, but it saves you from expensive heartbreak. Every sport has a signature moment. A football goal, a slam dunk, a tennis ace. If you know when these moments are coming, you can be ready before they happen instead of reacting after. That means learning the game well enough to be able to predict it. The crowd's energy also often spikes right before something big. Use that as your early warning system. Anticipation is your superpower here. Sports are about people, not just plays. Focus on faces, the grin after a win, the scowl after a foul, the determination mid-sprint. Emotion tells a story your audience can connect to instantly. Zoom in, frame tight, and don't be afraid to crop out everything except the face if that's where the story lives. People will remember the feeling far longer then they'll remember the score. Yes, f2.8 gives you dreamy backgrounds, but sometimes you need more depth. For example, if two players are on the same plane of action but moving quickly, a slightly higher f-stop like f4 or 5.6 keeps them both sharp. In fast sports, missing focus because your depth of field was too shallow is frustrating but preventable. The art is knowing when to trade creamy backgrounds for a higher hit rate. The whistle is not the end of the moment. Some of the most authentic shots come seconds later. A quiet fist bump, a consoling hand on the shoulder, or a fan reaction. Keep your camera up and your finger ready for the few beats after each play. You'll often catch the raw, unscripted emotion that makes your gallery stand out. Not all light is perfect, and that's okay. Late afternoon shadows, stadium spotlights, or even harsh midday sun can create dramatic effects. Instead of avoiding the contrast, experiment with it. Shadows can add depth and mood to your images. Just expose for the highlights and let the shadows fall where they may. You'll add variety and drama without spending a cent. It feels natural to squint one eye when looking through the viewfinder, but try keeping both eyes open. Your shooting eye watches the frame. Your free eye tracks the bigger picture. This helps you spot incoming action before it enters the frame. Especially useful in fast-moving sports where things can appear out of nowhere. It does take practice, but it's worth it. In the middle of the game, you don't want to be taking your eyes off the action to hunt for buttons. Practice changing settings without looking. Shutter speed, aperture, ISO. Muscle memory means you can adapt to changing conditions in seconds and still keep the play in your sights. This is the difference between a missed opportunity and a portfolio-worthy shot. Sports fields are full of lines, sidelines, goal boxes, lanes. Use them as compositional guides. They can lead the viewer's eye directly to your subject or create a symmetry and balance. A clean, well-composed shot feels intentional, even if the play was chaotic. If you know where the action is about to happen, like a jump-off point or a goal line, pre-focus there. When the moment comes, you can fire instantly instead of waiting for the autofocus to catch up. It's a simple hack that turns anticipation into speed. While tight shots often pull the viewers right into the intensity of the moment, wide shots are your way of showing the bigger picture. Literally, they capture the full scene. The stadium lights cutting through the evening sky, the sea of fans waving banners, the bench lined up with players ready to jump in, or even surrounding landscape if you're at an outdoor venue. These images give context, grounding your story in a place and atmosphere rather than just isolated plays. A wide shot can turn an ordinary game moment into something cinematic, showing the scale of the crowd or the symmetry of the field. It also provides breathing room in your coverage. When every image is a close-up, the viewer can get visually trapped. Wide shots act like a chapter break in your story, allowing the drama to unfold on the grand stage. Think of them as establishing your shots in a movie. They set the scene and make the action that follows even more impactful. Referees, umpires, fourth officials, linesmen, they're not just background extras. They're the part of the flow and a narrative of the game. A sharp, well-timed shot of an official mid-call can add drama, explain a turning point, or capture the tension between players and authority. Sometimes the expression on a ref's face, the posture of their body, or the reaction they trigger can tell a story just as compelling as the athlete's play. But remember, they are there to do a job, and so are you. Keep your distance, stay out of their line of sight, and avoid blocking their movement. When you respect their space, they will usually respect yours, and you'll have more chances to catch those decisive moments without any interference. If you only shoot on sunny afternoons with perfect light, you're missing out on a whole lot of photography growth. Rain, fog, wind, snow, and dim floodlights force you to think differently about exposure, shutter speed, and composition. Yes, it is harder, but it's also more rewarding. Raindrops frozen midair, steam rising from a player's breath in the cold, or a silhouette against a misty background can be far more dramatic than a clear sky shot. These conditions challenge your technical skills and push you to adapt quickly, which will make you a strong photographer when the conditions are perfect. Plus, bad weather keeps a lot of the other shooters away, meaning you might capture rare, atmospheric images no one else is getting. It's easy to plant yourself in one safe spot and just keep shooting from there, especially if you're getting decent images. But some of your most interesting shots will come from stepping outside of that comfort zone. Even moving just a few meters to the left or to the right can change the entire background and the feel of the shot. Go higher to capture patterns in the play or the geometry of the field, or drop all the way to the turf to level or exaggerate size and intensity. Try shooting from behind the goal, from the corner, or even through gaps in a fence. These shifts in perspective not only add variety to your portfolio, but they can also surprise you with moments and angles you would never see if you just stay put. Sports photography is inherently busy. Jerseys, ads, fans, equipment, and a whole lot of moving parts all in one frame. The trick in post is to strip away the noise so that the story stands out. Cropping is your best friend here. Use it to isolate the key subject and eliminate distractions at the edges. Adjust contrast, brightness to guide the viewer's eye to the most important part of your image. And don't hesitate to remove background clutter if it adds nothing to the scene. A clean frame tells a clearer, more powerful story. Think of editing not as fixing your shot, but as fine-tuning the visual focus so your audience feels exactly what you want them to feel when they look at your photo. Another 20 tips wrapped up, another part 1 completed. Check out my other part 1s. They are just as useful and just as confused about the numbering system as this one. Keep shooting, keep learning, and remember, the only blurry thing should be the background.